County Citizen Action and Indivisible Binghamton partnered to protest against Elon Musk after news broke that the newly formed Department of Government Efficiency has been given access to sensitive Treasury data. 12 News' Kyle Spisak has more.
Protesters lined the sidewalk in front of Broome County's federal office building in Binghamton Tuesday morning, calling for elected officials to take a stand against Elon Musk. This comes after it was announced that Musk's Department of Government Efficiency had gained access to Social Security and Medicare customer payment systems through the Treasury, as well as the Social Security numbers of most taxpayers. This raising concerns for some people.
We have no idea what he's doing. He's not an elected official. He has no reason to be there. Nobody is stopping him. Anybody who thinks that we're overreacting just doesn't really know what's going on. They're not hearing it. It's important that they have an idea of what's going on right now.
Protesters set up out front of the federal office building in hopes to gain the attention of elected leaders like Chuck Schumer and urge them to make a stand against Musk. Schumer spoke, criticizing Musk's approach towards government departments.
Certainly they're entitled to have their viewpoint. Certainly. But to just do things in the dark of night, to just fire people without even talking to them, what they do, what their needs are, makes no sense, and again, is going to lead to bad results.
Last Saturday, Musk posted on X saying, quote, that payment approval officers at Treasury were instructed to always approve payments, even to known fraudulent or terrorist groups. They literally never denied a payment in their entire career, not even once, end quote. He did not provide proof of this claim. More concerns are being raised regarding Musk's significant international business interests and ties and giving Musk access to the majority of the country's private information. I'm Kyle Spisak, 12 News, Broome County.